Well, good afternoon. It's day 9 of the King's Agenda. I hope you have a copy, your own copy. If not, you can download one at glbc.org. And so we're on day 9, and the passage is Matthew 6:25 through 34. Have you ever noticed that telling someone to calm down is not always the most helpful thing to do? It sometimes makes the matter worse. But when you say calm down and then give helpful information, well, it's really helpful. And that's what we see today in the passage in Matthew. Jesus says, don't be anxious. If we were to get real with Jesus in that moment, we would probably say, telling me not to be anxious is not so helpful. But he doesn't leave us there. And so he says, don't be anxious. But he gives us so much more in this passage, more that I think will comfort and help us when we lose sleep, when we worry about our kids, when we worry about what's next, our paycheck, our job situation, our pension, our IRA. So Matthew 6:25 says this, therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? So Jesus says, don't worry, don't be anxious about the daily needs of life. But he doesn't leave us there. He gives us more. He gives us an assignment in verse 26, an assignment that we all should do on occasion. He says this, look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And so he gives us an assignment to look out our windows, to go outside and to look at the birds and to consider how God cares for them. They don't do any work. They don't plant their own gardens. They don't do anything to provide for their own needs. They just make it. And Jesus says that it is God who cares for them. Really, it's an assignment to look at all creation. If we look at the smallest of animals all the way to the earth spinning around the sun, knowing that God holds all of these things in his care, it can be and should be comforting to us. If we keep reading in Matthew, it says this, and which of you by being anxious can add a single hour to his span of life? You know, isn't it interesting? Worry, it doesn't help. It doesn't add to our lives. It doesn't give us more of what we need. Now, this is hard, right? I mean, this is those moments when we lay in bed at night with our head on the pillow and we're thinking about life and we can't fall asleep, and the burdens seem to pile into our mind and we can't shut it off. It just comes and comes and comes. And so Jesus is practical. He says, look at the birds. And he reminds us that worrying doesn't help. And he tells us that he cares about us. He keeps going. He says, and why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. I have some tulips coming up in my yard, and that's a good reminder that the beauty of these tulips comes from the Creator. God made these flowers, and it's a reminder that he cares about us. The last words of this passage, verse 34, it says this, therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. It's true. Today, we have enough trouble to go through. And I think the practical steps of going through each day is to recognize God's care for us, to look around and see and know that if he cares for the birds and the flowers, how much more does he care about you in what you're going through today. It's not like we just lay down and do nothing. It's not like we don't work hard in life and try to move through it in productive ways. But there's a place where we come to rest and trust God, who knows our needs and cares deeply about us, more than flowers, more than the birds. I hope this encourages you today as we walk through this devotional, Praying the King's Agenda. I hope that that the agenda of Jesus Christ is changing you day by day. Our prayer is that you would be more like Christ today than you were yesterday, and that as we walk through this devotional, that your prayers would change and your life would change. Well, a reminder as I leave, we are producing these videos 3 times a week, so we hope they're encouraging to you. Also, we are producing a Sunday service each Sunday that's available on Sunday mornings that you can watch on YouTube. And we hope you're encouraged. We hope you're blessed. And we'll be together again soon. It may not be as soon as we hope, but we will be together again, and we will enjoy it. So God be with you. May His grace shine upon you, and we'll talk again.